16 Minutes of Care is a podcast based on the CARE principles, a strategic framework that reveals how brands create impact by caring and, as a result, grow their business. In each episode, 𝗂𝗍𝗲 welcomes a company executive who explains how CARE has helped their business grow successfully and sustainably.
Welcome, 16 Minutes of Care, the new concept by the CARE principles. Today I have Bregtje van den Berg. She is a senior design engineer at Secrid, a Dutch company that makes wallets. Welcome, Bregtje. Very nice to have you here. Could you explain a bit more what you do at Secrid and what Secrid does?
Secrid is a wallet brand, founded in 2008. We make the wallets, the card wallets. We call it the card protector. Some people don't know the brand, but when I say the one which your card shifts out when you pull the button, then probably most people know it. Yeah. I should have one here. Well.
Yeah, you didn't bring one.
Of course I have.
Okay.
Of course I have my wallet with me, but not in my pocket.
In the second episode, we will show it to the camera. That's
yes.
A good idea.
I'm working there as a design engineer, from the idea until how you can produce it, and all the thinking about the concept, about the details, production-wise.
That's what
everything comes together in the design. Yeah.
Nice. We actually met before.
Yeah.
Because with my CARE principles, I give keynotes and I also give guest lectures at university. And I was invited at TU Delft to give a guest lecture to like a kind of post.
It was a masterclass.
A masterclass, yeah. Exactly. Couldn't find a word, a masterclass. And you were attending that masterclass. Yeah. And when I gave examples, I explained the CARE principles and I gave examples of companies that really go for positive impact on people and planet and are very caring. At the end, when I did a tour of the classroom, you said, well, I work for a company and we pretty much do everything you talked about. So I was really impressed. So you work for a company that is family owned.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to work for Secrid?
That is a family owned company that has a lot of impact on how the business is run. Before I came to Secrid, I worked for 5 years at a design agency, which also was privately owned, but there's a very different way in working for an agency or for a company who's producing a product. So I really like to see how that works, because when you work at an agency, you have this idea which comes from the clients, and you work, and in the end you deliver a design defined by drawings and technical details, and then you hand it over, and then it's out of your hands, and you never. Maybe you hear something about whether the market is good or not, if it's selling well, if there are any problems. Sometimes you get a new product out of it, but you're not involved anymore, and that's nice to work for Secrid. That I'm involved from the beginning till the end, and beyond, because you hear the response from the market, and and the other thing is that I really like the people work there, and that like the first job interview was a very nice conversation. And like a lot of colleagues, I came there through a colleague I already knew, and so there are a lot of connections always and relationships, word of mouth. Okay.
Yeah. What I found interesting in the story, the founders of Secrid, is that first they are called René and Marianne, I think. They first had a design agency, but then 2008 was a financial crisis, and they really got into problems. Yeah. They didn't have enough assignments anymore to keep the design agency running, and so they always had this wish to create a brand of their own. And so they said, "Let's go for our dream." It's a tough but also very impressive decision when the going gets tough to choose for a dream, right?
Yeah, I think that, they had for 20 years they had this design agency, and the big trouble was that their clients weren't paying anymore. So that's why they had to fire almost all their employees. Just one employee, he stayed, that is Paul. So with the three together, Paul's still working at Secrid right now. And they were like, we don't have anything. They could barely stay in their house. They had to get the food out of, how do you call it in English?
Yeah, it's like this
social fund.
Social aid.
𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗲
𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗲 for the Flemish that are following. Yeah, but so they had hardly any money left. The banks didn't want to lend them any money. Financial crisis, of course.
So they had the support from relatives, from friends and family who said, okay, we believe that you can manage. And that's how they got started. It was also in the time that there was a crisis, so a lot of suppliers had difficulties too. So they were willing to help and say, okay, I buy this mold for you and you can pay it off later, and so on. So there are some suppliers that that already such a long history with us, and we really built that connection with them and still have them as a production partners. So that growth and growth and growth.
We'll talk about that collaboration part in the next episodes. Today, let's emphasize the business goes well. You work with more than 100 people. The product is sold in more than 80 countries, so it's really a global product. But one of the things that I found very interesting is that your founders, they have something with the figure 7. So the company is based on the 7 chakras. You also have 7 values, which is a lot, because when I do value exercises with my clients, I always tend to say, choose between 3 and 5, because I mean, having a value, it really means a lot of work, but you guys have 7. And then you also have a design process that is based on 7 layers. Now, we don't have enough time to go in each of these 7 things, but can you explain a bit more the 7 layers of the design model that you use?
Well, it's actually developed by René. He's one of the founders. And he really sees the connection between the rational and the spiritual part. You're designing for people, and it's an extension of people. You're using a product which is for your help. It's to serve you. So there's always a connection between human and product. And I'm not going too deep, but you have like the crown chakra until the root, and between there are the 5 others. And he made this connection between you have this vision in your product, and you have the final product, which is the root and the thing you in the end sell. And I can briefly show you this, so get it a little bit more visual. But these are the 7 layers about awareness, the marketing, the interaction, the aesthetics, the technology, the production and commerce. And all these things is like having a holistic view on the design process to take this into account. And these are the phases. So in the alignment phase, which are in the briefing, you already have to take into account all these aspects so that you end up with a product which is really good. And not in the end like, oh, I didn't think about that or this.
And this is a model that René himself developed. This is not something that exists in management books or design books.
No, he's still working on it.
He's still working on that book?
It's his life piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what are the other steps? Sorry.
The alignment, the briefing. So you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Oh, really?
Alignment, briefing, concept, about the detailing, the engineering, the factory and the goods. So that all is connected. And you have to think about what is I deliver in every junction.
Interesting. And so you use this whenever you design a new product?
Yeah, sometimes it's just in the back of your head. It's like it helps to explain, and for them it's like natural, but it helps to also tell it to other people. And I think when I look back to my education at the TU Delft, Industrial Design Engineering, it's there, but not in this shape. And it makes very explicit this connection between all the phases and the things you do and the choices you make. Because what you choose here defines what you get out of it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're making a concept and you say, okay, I have all these things, but oh wait, I have to go back to my briefing because I don't think the briefing is right. So it's not like a linear model. You can make loops.
You can make little loops.
but yeah, preferably not too much, because then your design process gets too long. But yeah, in the end, you want this final perfect product, which is perfectly made for people.
People. But what is interesting is that because you spoke about TU Delft, so we met at TU Delft, you have studied at TU Delft, but also the founder René has studied at TU Delft. His grandfather, if I remember well, was a professor at TU Delft, or a teacher at TU Delft. So there's a lot of this rational, academical side within the company, but then you also have the spiritual side. How does that balance out?
Yeah, I think that's something very basically essential for Secrid, to combine these. It's natural, and I think that this more emotional and spiritual side also comes from Marianne. She sees things that, well, you cannot see by eye.
Okay.
And I think that, yeah, because René and she are already very long time together. They grew up more or less together. Yeah, by her experience, and that's really there. René also did research on it, and some things can be explained by science. So it's connected. It's like, yeah, the chakras is not vague when you really study it. And yeah.
Is it something, because you have over 100 people now, and of course I do realize you're not the human resources director, you're not the founder, but more than 100 people. How do you translate that culture, which is rational and spiritual? How do you translate it towards your employees?
I think they always say it, and they make they have it about they talk about the yin and yang. So it's also in the product, like you have this leather soft touch outside, and the inner aluminium car protector, which is more like male energy, and like the soft leather is more the female energy. So you always need this contradiction in something. They're always looking for that. And that's for some big decisions in projects or in whatever's going on. It's often very important to ask both of them for their advice or how they see it, because they always look from a different perspective. And yeah, this makes things really good. And in practical stuff, yeah, like they once or twice a year we have a spiritual retreat, and there's this a lot to explain, but you have this clearing theory in a way of contemplation and spiritual thinking. But they offer all employees the opportunity to go there. Last year they organized it themselves, now for the company. And I think, yeah, well, also in meetings, for example, when we do a check-in and a check-out for every meeting, but first we are silent for about 15 or 30 seconds.
Minutes would be a bit long, maybe.
And when, yeah, we call it tune in and notice, just like to feel for yourself what's my emotion, what I'm feeling, how I am sitting here, and then start talking and connecting to each other, because then you can first let go what's not yours and tune into somebody else.
Does this specific internal culture, because it is very specific, does it mean that you recruit a specific type of people? Because I can imagine that very rational people, they don't fit in that culture, or they have difficulties to, for instance, tune into themselves and be silent and kind of meditate. Is that something, so it goes all
like we have the 7 values of Secrid, which is independent, which stands for that they're still independent and have no shareholders, and that we can make our own choices. We also have together, and that's about doing things together, build together with our suppliers, with our relations, with all the retailers, with all the colleagues together. It's not like you on your own and you want to accomplish something. No, together we build, on the brand, and with our suppliers. That's in a lot of things. So people who want to be like, I'm the best and this is what I do, well, they won't fit in.
They won't fit in. What other values do you have?
Creative,
okay.
for sure. Fantastic, which is about the service for our clients, and that they, we really do it for the end consumer. So we want to serve them as best as possible. Yeah, and we want to have our fans, our fan base.
Okay.
Well, I'm lost.
This
Modest is one of, which is connected also what I said. Like you're not doing it on your own. We're not shouting out that we're the best, but we're being modest through our product is good. So that's our story, and respect for everybody else who can I say that you are. A respect for the world, for everything that is in society. Respect. And now my last account.
I think we've almost had them all, no?
I think so, yeah.
That's perfect because we're at the end of this 16 minutes of care, so it's perfect. Thank you so much. Very interesting culture, very specific culture, very unique culture. But there's more to Secrid because we will talk about the Care for Planet and the fact that they are B Corp certified. So stay tuned, watch the second episode with Bregtje from Secrid. And thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and take care.
Want to create lasting impact with your brand while feeding sustainable growth? Check out 𝗃𝗵𝗲 and see how we can help you. 16 Minutes of Care is an independent production from 𝗃𝗵𝗲, brand strategist, founder of the Care Principles, and author of the book, Does Your Brand Care? Help us reach more companies who are looking for caring and sustainable growth by giving this podcast all the stars it deserves and by sharing it in your network. Thank you and take care.